Morning, students. We have started this chapter, We Are Not Afraid to Die If We Can All Be Together. It is written by Gordon Cook and Helen East, and I have told you about this chapter that this is the a replica of the world voyage made by a businessman, 37-year businessman, who has dreamt of sailing, and he made this voyage with his whole family, his wife Mary, son and daughter. So it was just a replica of a voyage done by Captain James Cook before 200 years. Okay, so they have done the same, and they have that passion of doing that thing, and they were doing this thing for, they have been preparing for this voyage for 16 years, and they have spent their all free time honing our seafaring skills in British waters. Honing means improving their skills. Seafaring means that sea surfing skills in British waters, in British rivers, or rivers. Okay, so now this was the first paragraph. Come to the second paragraph. Our boat Wave Walker, a 23-meter, 30-ton wooden hulled beauty, had been professionally built, and we had spent months fitting it out and testing it in the roughest weather we could find. So what they had a boat. What was the name of the boat? Wave Walker, and it is 23-meter long and 30-ton wooden hulled. Hulled means wooden covered. It was a beauty. Okay, it was a beauty of 23-meter long and 30-ton wooden covered, and it had been professionally built for that kind of a thing, for long voyages, so that it can spend months into sea, and they have been spending months to fitting in it means to be habitual of that, so living in a boat. They have been doing it for a long time, and they were testing this boat, the strength of this boat, how much water or how much rough weather it can bear. So they were just testing this boat into the roughest weather they could find. Whatever roughest weather they could find around them, they have tested this boat in that water or in that weather also. The first leg of our planned 3-year, 105,000 kilometer journey passed pleasantly as we sailed down the west coast of Africa to Cape Town. There, before heading east, we took on 2 crewmen, American Larry Vigil and Swiss Herb Siechler, to help us tackle one of the world's roughest seas, the southern Indian Ocean. So what they have done, they have started their journey from, obviously they were coming from west to east. Okay, they were just having a long voyage. So they were having 3-legged plan. 3-legged means that their voyage having 3 parts. Okay, so their first part of their plan, that was very much smooth, and it was of 105,000 kilometer. So this part of the kilometers they have done, and it was very pleasant, and it was very smooth voyage for them, smooth sail for them, because they were going down west coast of Africa, of Cape Town. Okay, they were moving towards east. Okay, so from west they have started, so they have passed that Africa, Cape Town of Africa. Till there, their journey was very smooth. They have a pleasant journey, they have pleasant sail, they have not faced any kind of a difficulty. And when they reached there, before coming towards east, what they did, they took 2 other crewmen with them. Okay, and what were the name? The name were Larry Vigil from America and Herb Siechler from Switzerland. And they took both the crewmen because they knew that that now their journey, that upcoming journey, would be very tough, and they could need help with them. So they took these 2 crewmen to face one of the toughest sea. So this the southern Indian Ocean is called one of the toughest sea. So they took help of these 2 men with them, so that they could not face any kind of difficulties. So what's happened then? On our second day out of Cape Town, we began to encounter strong gales. For the next few weeks, they blew continuously. Gales did not worry me, but the size of the waves was alarming, up to 15 meters, as high as our mainmast. So on our second day of Cape Town, so in the second day of Cape Town, they began to encounter means to experience, to confront strong gales. Gales are called strong winds. So they started encountering, they started facing those strong winds. And for coming next weeks, They blew continuously. The wind was blowing continuously, and for that narrator, for our narrator, those gales, those winds were not about to worry. What was about to worry? The size of the waves of the water. That was the thing to be worried about. So the size of the waves, that was alarming. And how much size of the waves? Waves were 15 meters high. They were as high as the mast of their main mast. Mast is the highest point of a ship. For example, this is their boat, and this is their this jib, strong jib, a storm jib. So it is their highest point. So this is called mast. This is the mast, okay, highest point of the boat. So their the waves, the water waves were as high as their main mast. So it was alarming thing for him, because it was not a good thing, okay. So what happened next? December 25 found us 3,500 kilometers east to Cape Town. Despite atrocious weather, we had a wonderful holiday complete with a Christmas tree. New Year's Day saw no improvement in the weather, but we reasoned that it had to change soon, and it did change for the worse. So what happened? They started their journey during the end of the year. So on December 25, they found 3,500 kilometers towards east of Cape Town. So they were 3,500 kilometers above the Cape Town, and despite of that atrocious, that's very bad and worst weather, New Year's Day saw no improvement. It means that from December 25 to 1st of the day, New Year's Eve, to 31st December, there was no improvement in the weather. The weather was the same, okay, it was very bad, it was very worst. And but they had a very good holiday. They had a very good Christmas with a Christmas tree, and they did everything. And but New Year's Day was not any improvement in the weather. But but we reasoned. Reason mean, but they the reason themselves means they just put an opinion that that weather would be changed in few days. It for sure would be going to change. But what happened? The weather changed, but it changed for the worse. The weather become more worst for them. It was not good at all. So then, at dawn on January 2, the waves were gigantic. We were sailing with only a small storm jib, and were still making 8 knots. So what happened? On January 2nd, waves were gigantic. Waves were more like giants. They were becoming more higher and higher. And they were just sailing with a small jib. What is jib? Jib is this triangular cloth in a boat. That this is called jib, storm jib, okay. So they are having a very small storm jib, and they were still making 8 knots out of it. These are knots. Knots are the counting of something. So they are making just 8 knots. And as the ship rose to the top of each wave, we could see endless enormous sea rolling towards us. And when their ship was tossing with the coming waves, when that waves goes up and down. So when their ship was going up with the waves, so what they are able to see, they are able to see that enormous means long, strong, and endless sea in front of them. There was nothing, and it was rolling towards us. It means that it was coming towards us, and there was nothing at all. Around of them there was just sea, and there was just water and water. And the screaming of the wind and spray was painful to the ears. And the screaming, the wind was screaming. The sound of the wind was very much louder, and it was just painful to the ears. So the sprays of water was spraying on them. Water was coming very harshly on them. So it was very painful for the ears. To slow the boat down, we dropped the storm jib and lashed a heavy mooring rope into the loop across the stern. So what they did, to slow down their boat, because boat was also moving very fast because of the weather, because of the waves. So what they did, they just dropped their storm jib and lashed a heavy mooring rope. So they just lashed a heavy mooring rope. Mooring is a kind of a rope which is used for especially for boats, okay. So lashed it, so they put it around it, and they put it across the stern. Stern is the body part of boat, front body part of the boat. So they just tied it so that the speed of the boat could drop down a little. Then we double lashed everything. So what they did, they just double lashed. Double lash means they just double knotted everything. They secured everything with double knots, and then they went through our life raft drill, attached lifelines donned our oilskins and life jackets and waited. So what, they have everything with them, that life raft drill raft, that raft they are having with them to do the drilling things, that was with them. They have attached lifelines with them, they have their oilskins with them, their life jackets with them, in case if they they were not be able to just stick to the boat, they just fall down into the water. So they have just prepared themselves that anything could happen now. So they have prepared themselves for the worst, and they're just waiting for that worst to come up to them. So read this chapter till here. There are so many of the words, used from the vocabulary of sea and from the vocabulary of the boat parts of boat. So what you people can do, people just google out these words, so that it becomes easier for you to know the meanings, and you can have the picture of a boat from google with yourself, so that you can figure out that which part of the body are we are talking about here in the chapter. Okay.